Hi, my name is Dwayne Gathers, and welcome to Civitas LA, where each week we feature diverse and emerging leaders who make up this dynamic region and are creating community every day and building a better tomorrow. Each week, we hear from, learn from, and are truly inspired by a new generation of civic entrepreneurs who are forging a path forward in making Los Angeles a stronger, more resilient, and connected group of citizens. Now more than ever, we aim to elevate civic discourse, foster community connections, and promote civic knowledge and engagement across the greater Los Angeles region while elevating diverse and emerging voices in this conversation. Just over 30 years ago, Project Angel Food came into being with a purpose to bring care and nutrition to people living with HIV/AIDS. Since then, Project Angel Food has taken their mission of preparing and delivering healthy meals to people impacted by serious illness to such extraordinary levels, having delivered now over 13 million meals. But here we are again, a new crisis, a new pandemic, and Project Angel Food continues to rise to the challenge of the day, pivot, and find new ways to serve communities in crisis as they work to serve not only those with critical, life-threatening illness, but also those suffering from food insecurity, which has been highlighted through this pandemic. So here with us in the studio this afternoon to discuss the remarkable journey of this organization, how they've risen to meet these new challenges and meet this critical moment, we're grateful to have Richard Ayoub, Executive Director of Project Angel Food, with us here in the studio. Richard, welcome to Civitas LA.
Great to be here, Dwayne. Thanks for inviting me.
Well, we are so glad that you are here, Richard. Certainly in certain communities here in LA is so well known for the work that you've done over the years. But just give us a short overview of the organization and give us a short overview of your background.
Project Angel Food was created in 1989 in response to the AIDS crisis. Mary Ann Williamson wanted to make sure that people dying of AIDS didn't die alone, they didn't die hungry, and they didn't die without love. So Mary Ann found this church at the corner of Fairfax and Fountain, and there's a small kitchen there. And she got volunteers to cook meals and volunteers to deliver meals to people dying of AIDS. And Mary Ann has always said, and we always believe, that when you deliver meals, you're not just delivering food, you're delivering love. So here we are, 31 years later. Guess what? We have another pandemic on our hands, and that's why we're saying we're meeting the moment, because we were created during a pandemic, we're living in another pandemic, and we're not only serving meals to people living with HIV, we're serving food to people with heart disease, lung disease, diabetes, kidney failure, and all forms of cancer. So this is an organization that has grown, that has flourished, that has said, we don't want to just keep this special gift for people with HIV. We want to share it with all of Los Angeles. So it's pretty remarkable how it's grown to this level today.
That's great. And tell our audience about your background. How did you find your way to Project Angel Food?
So I have a background that you would never imagine would end up working and running a nonprofit. I, for many years, was a TV producer. I produced television news in many markets, from Texas to Arizona to Florida to California. And then, all of a sudden, one day, about 5 years ago, I got a phone call from a friend of mine. He said, we're making a change at Project Angel Food, and we need a leader like you. You know everyone. If you don't know them, you know how to get to them. You're compassionate. You know how to tell a story. I think you're the right personality. Would you ever consider running this organization? And when Project Angel Food calls you and asks you to help, and all your life being in television news, you wanted to make a difference, and you get an opportunity to do that, the only answer to that question is yes.
Yeah.
And so it's amazing the board said yes, and 5 years later, I'm here.
No, that's a wonderful story. We know that the work that Project Angel Food does touches on so many diverse communities, and you go beyond just Los Angeles. Tell us about the communities that you serve and the geographic reach and impact of the organization.
So Project Angel Food started in the West Hollywood area, and we used to serve hot meals. So we did that geographic area because hot meals have to be hot when they get to your home. and they can't get cold. We years ago decided let's shift to frozen meals. If we do that, we can actually cover all LA County. So we go from Long Beach to Lancaster, Pomona to Santa Monica, all 4,400 square miles of LA County, and we bring people frozen meals that are medically tailored to their particular illness. And so at one time, we can bring a week's worth of meals to them. And it makes it so much more convenient for people because if they're on dialysis 3 times a week, they can't be home waiting for our delivery driver to bring the meal. If they're going through radiation or chemotherapy, they may not be able to be home. This way, they can be home 1 day a week and they get their week's worth of food. And from the day one, it has always been free to the client.
Amazing. And how have the communities served by your work evolved over these 30 years?
Well, it's changed dramatically. So, in the very early days, it was almost 100% people with AIDS. And it was almost 100% white men. Today, we have 76% people of color.
Interesting.
Today, we have about 45% women. So it's changed dramatically. And of course, we cover all LA County, and our biggest coverage area is South LA. South LA, Metro LA, the Valley. This is where the need is. This is where people who are sick, hungry, and alone reach out and are courageous to reach out for help.
Well, certainly, you've been able to pivot over these 30 years. And, these last 9 months now, we've had the COVID crisis. So tell us how you've pivoted to address the issues arising from COVID-19.
So when COVID-19 started taking hold in March, at that time, we had to make a lot of very quick decisions. Are we going to rise to this occasion? Are we going to put our head down and be afraid? And what we decided very early on is this is the moment we were born for. This is a moment that we have to rise to the occasion. And I've got to tell you that not one single chef, not one single driver, not one single employee of Project Angel Food came to me and said, I am afraid to come to work. They showed up because that's what Project Angel Food does.
Mm-hmm.
And so we never shut down. Organizations and companies are trying to figure out how to open up right now. We don't have to figure that out because it happened in March. It happened in April and kept developing in May. We never shut down. We figured out how to have face coverings in March before anyone was required to wear one. One of the things that we decided is, we have all these alcohol sponsors who have bandanas. So I called them up and said, do you have some bandanas so our chefs and volunteers can have face covering? We got all these tequila sponsors.
Okay.
I was doing a TV news report and I had one of the bandanas on and someone said, are you promoting a tequila?
Right.
And I said, no, I'm promoting a face mask.
Right. You're trying to stay safe.
And that's what we had at the time. Because remember, in those early days, there weren't even enough masks for doctors and nurses, so we didn't want to take those away. So we did what we could. And then very early on as well, I had a meeting with our board of directors. And we were bringing in about 200 volunteers into our kitchen every single week. That's 200 potential exposures of the virus.
Right.
So were we adding to the problem or not? So we did something we've never done in our 30-year history. We put a pause on volunteers. So we said, please give us a break right now. We're going to give you a break. We're not going to have volunteers in the kitchen. And so what we did is we wanted to help the restaurant industry. So we hired 8 out-of-work restaurant chefs to replace our volunteers.
Okay.
So that way, it's the same 8 people coming in there every day instead of 200. Of course, it's costing us $45,000 a month to employ those people and the people in dispatch. But what's incredible is in March, we were serving 1,500 people a day. Today, we're serving 2,100 people a day. And it's the same kitchen, fewer people.
Okay.
There was no learning curve. They knew what to do. And the explosive growth is crazy. We used to cook, prepare, and deliver 650,000 meals a year, which is a lot because every single one is done individually.
Mm-hmm.
That's a lot of meals. This year is going to be the first year in our history that we will cook, prepare, and deliver 1 million meals in 1 year.
That's an amazing, amazing feat there. What are some of the capacity limitations on this? You're not having the volunteers, which is so important to what the organization does. What are some of the capacity limitations and how are you addressing those?
So, the saddest thing is not having the energy of the volunteers because every year we have about 4,700 volunteers who come through our doors. And they usually come through corporations like Sony and Wells Fargo, and the Hollywood Chamber of Commerce has come in and volunteered. And so we had to say, let's not do it right now. But keeping them engaged is something that's kind of challenging. So what we've done is we've created an opportunity for volunteers to deliver meals. So our drivers are delivering to 60 clients a day. If we can relieve them of about 10 clients, that's 50 clients they can visit instead of 60, and a volunteer can do those deliveries of those 10 clients. And this way we get people involved, we get volunteers being able to spend more time with the clients, and we get the drivers to have a lighter load. And you know how we started this idea? Because I got a call near Easter. These two folks who are very well known around the world wanted to deliver meals for Easter. And so we worked it out so Harry and Megan could deliver meals for Easter. And so people called us and said, we want to deliver meals too. They sparked an entire new aspect of our program, which goes back to our roots where volunteers are delivering meals.
Mm-hmm.
And it all started with Harry and Megan, which is really beautiful.
So that's great, Richard. And I know Project Angel Food, functions so well because you've developed some very robust systems and processes from client intake to food delivery, which you just touched on. So I'd love for you to share more about this process and how it all works, particularly in terms of client identification, how people find you, and how you go about designing medically tailored meals for all these different illnesses to preparation and then delivery. Talk about that process.
So we have about 200 referral partners who come to us every day, from the VA hospital to AIDS Project Los Angeles to dialysis centers or hospice centers. Kaiser is the number one referral partner to us. They identify people who could benefit from a medically tailored meal, people who can't shop or cook for themselves, people who have a critical illness, and people who might be food insecure. And so what we do is we get those referrals in, and some people will self-refer. They'll see us on television or hear this podcast or see something on a website, and they'll call and say, am I eligible to get meals? Now, some people are eligible for Meals on Wheels. If you can, if you don't need a medically tailored meal, if you don't have an illness, and if you're a senior, that's the best avenue for you. If you can shop and cook for yourself, but you can't afford food, a food bank is good for you. But if you cannot shop, cook for yourself, and you're ill, this is the program for you.
Okay.
And so we get those referrals. They come in, we assess them, we make sure that they meet our eligibility criteria, and then we try to get them on the program within a week and a half to 2 weeks.
And do you have medical professionals on staff who's doing all this investigation and assessment?
So we have client intake folks, and then we have an entire nutrition services department.
Okay.
And that department has registered dietitians who look at their labs and who call them up and assess what is a right meal plan for them. Because what if you have diabetes and kidney failure? Those things. The kidney failure menu is much more extreme than diabetic menu, but if you have that illness, you have to have the kidney menu because that's the most extreme illness. And these dietitians are phenomenal. There was one time that a client called in and said, "This is very weird, but your food tastes like metal to me. It doesn't taste good." The dietitian said, "Are you taking this particular drug?" And the client said yes, because they had cancer. She said, "Okay, change from metal utensils to plastic. The food will taste different."
Wow, that simple.
This kind of stuff they know and they've been through, and just one quick phone call. And most of our clients have never talked to anyone about their diet before. And so this is all, they're a sponge because it's someone who really cares about them. There was one client who called, and when she came to us, everyone had practically given up on her.
Oh, wow.
She literally thought she was on her deathbed. She talked to our registered dietitian, Carmen, and she said that Carmen never made her feel like she was going to die. And she said, "I went from my deathbed to dancing in my living room."
Oh, amazing.
And it's because someone started caring about her and someone talked to her as if she was going to live and not die.
That is amazing. And tell us about the food preparation. You know, you're serving thousands of folks per week, 1 million over the course of the year. You know, how big is this operation? How big is this kitchen that you have?
So we have an 8,000 square foot kitchen in the heart of Hollywood. And this kitchen busts out all of these meals. And what's amazing about what we do is it's not mass production. Every single meal has people power behind it.
Mm-hmm.
And so a person put that meal together, made it look pretty and taste great because they knew it was going to come to someone at home who may be looking forward to eating more than anything else in their world, because that's the one thing that gives them happiness today.
Well, you know, I like the fact that you touched on the people power behind the work that you all do, because, you know, I read, you know, how Project Angel Food, you know, describes itself as a community-funded organization supported by neighbors, local businesses, corporations, and foundations. But really more important is that, you know, I note that you had over 4,000 volunteers contributing over 40,000 you know, person hours to the work that you do. So, you know, given that we're, you know, really hyper-focused on volunteerism and civic engagement, you know, speak to the role of volunteers in driving the work of Project Angel Food together.
Volunteers from day one have been key to our success. When Mary Ann started that kitchen at a church, it was all volunteer driven. Volunteers have kept us going and have kept us growing. And so now, while they can't be in the kitchen, they are delivering the meals. And we also started a new program to help our volunteers and to help our clients. It's a telephone angels program.
Oh, interesting.
So clients that have identified themselves as being lonely or depressed, we pair them with a volunteer, and the volunteer calls them up and chats with them as long as they need to talk. So I talked to one of our volunteers. She said, "I was on the phone with this woman for 2 hours."
Oh, that's incredible.
And she needed to be on the phone for 2 hours. Now, that's what our volunteers are doing. Now, the other end of that is our volunteers feel lonely themselves. They feel like they can't, give back like they used to. And so this is allowing them to do that.
Well, you know, that's interesting because, you know, one of our sort of founding documents that got us started was a report from the Corporation for National and Community Service, which ranks volunteerism in America. And their most recent report in 2018 actually showed that Los Angeles ranked 46 out of 50 metro areas in terms of volunteerism. So this is amazing that you've been so successful. How have you been that successful in getting people to turn out and to show up for this organization and for the clients that you serve?
Well, this is important for all nonprofits to figure out. Corporations want to do corporate responsibility projects. They want to do something that's hands-on. Practically every bank has a day of service. Every studio has a day of service. Every major corporation gives their employees time off to volunteer. Mac gives their employees an opportunity to volunteer, and then their hours equal dollars. We're going to get $6,000 from Mac Cosmetics because their employees volunteered in our kitchen.
Mm-hmm.
So what nonprofits should realize, create volunteer opportunities, because if you do, that will ultimately rise through a corporation and equal dollars. I can guarantee that it will equal donations because corporations want to hear from their employees who they should support.
Now that's an amazing strategy, and I know you've developed these dedicated, customized volunteer experiences. So you guys have really developed incredible systems for engaging volunteers in the work that you do.
Yeah, and we're constantly voted as one of the best volunteer experiences in LA. There's nothing more beautiful than cooking meals for people less fortunate than you. And when you're at that kitchen or you're delivering meals or you're on the phone call, we're going through a very, very challenging time with COVID.
Absolutely.
But when you're doing anything like this, where you're being of service, you forget about it.
Right.
You just focus on that one human being that you're delivering a meal to, or who you're talking to, or that one meal you're preparing. And so whenever I need a little personal boost, I go deliver meals.
Mm-hmm.
And I always feel amazing coming back from that. I delivered meals with the CEO of Susan G. Komen Foundation, Mark Pilon, the other day. And we delivered to breast cancer clients. And we told this client, your food is being funded by Susan G. Komen. She started crying. You just felt her emotion, her love, that words couldn't express.
Well, I certainly look forward to when you are allowing volunteers back into the kitchen, because I'm, happy to have our small Civitas LA podcast team come in and volunteer. But I'll let you know now that I don't cook anything, but I'm happy to, take my turn chopping and slicing and dicing, so I can at least do that.
Well, because you're, a strong guy, they're going to have you on meat patrol. You're going to be lifting 400 pounds of meat and making your way through it.
Okay, I'll do what I am told gratefully.
That's what we need, yeah.
Well, we always speak to the importance of collaboration and partnerships because, none of us walk through this world alone, and we know this is important to your work. And I noticed on your website that you must have 200 or so community partners listed. So speak to these community partners and referral agencies that support the work of the Project Angel Food.
Our partners are either referral partners, where they refer to us or we refer to them, or they're actual partners where we have a partnership with. For instance, APLA came to us and said, we have a distribution center in Koreatown and too many people are coming there. Can we use your parking lot on Saturdays and have some people come there? I said yes.
Mm-hmm.
The LGBT Center said, we want to start feeding LGBT seniors. We're getting a special grant from the area on aging. And we said yes. I live in a world of yes. People call us, they want to partner with us. If it makes sense, if it's strong and powerful to our mission, we want to do it.
Mm-hmm.
And we have a partnership with LA Care. We had 151 clients on a waiting list who were with LA Care Insurance. I called up the CEO of LA Care, John Backus, who's one of our board members, and I said, John, I want to get rid of this waiting list. COVID is not going away. We need to take care of these people. And will you feed them for 6 months? He goes, why 6 months? He said, how about a year? LA Care gave us the largest contract we've ever received from a health plan, $550,000 to feed those people for a year. We have incredible partnerships. We have a partnership with Anthem, where we're doing medical nutrition therapy.
Anthem, the health insurance company.
Anthem, the health insurance company. So medical nutrition therapy with people who have congestive heart failure, diabetes, end-stage renal disease, and hypertension. And we're seeing amazing results. We're seeing that hospitalizations are reduced and that their health is getting better. And my biggest thing, we love to save taxpayers' money, save health plans' money. I love making the individual's quality of life better.
So, Richard, clearly, you're standing tall and very strong 30 years into this. But can you share any notable highlights or achievements or any program successes or interesting stories that you can share about the work that you do with our audience?
What's really most powerful for me are the human beings who are affected. We have this driver, Keith, who would deliver to this client all the time. And they had this great rapport. The client always wore very flashy scarves.
Okay.
And they would have this banter when they would visit. So one day, Keith came to visit the client, and someone other than the client answered the door. It was the client's sister. She said, we've been waiting for you all day. Please come in. He goes, what's going on? They took him to the living room. The client was laying on the floor. This moment, he wasn't wearing a scarf. It was the first time he saw him without a scarf. He said, please lay down with me. And he noticed that the scarf had actually covered up a big ball near his neck.
Mm-hmm.
And the client said, will you please make me laugh, Keith? Make me laugh. So Keith laid there and told jokes, and they hung out for about half an hour. And Keith said, I've got to go deliver to some other clients. He laughed, made deliveries. We got a call the very next day. The client passed away.
Oh, my gosh.
The client had been waiting to see Keith. His friend wanted to say goodbye in his way, and he got that.
Oh, man.
That's the special connection that Project Angel Food has with our clients.
And that story is repeated tens of thousands of times and millions of times over these years, these 30 years, I'm sure.
Absolutely.
That's amazing. And, certainly this work has been, so well recognized, having received the California Nonprofit of the Year award, not once, but twice in 2017 and 2019. So that's, clearly an honor and a great thrill. And I wonder how many organizations statewide are competing for that designation.
Oh, my God, it's every single organization in California is eligible. And so assembly members and state senators pick nonprofits in their district that they believe are doing excellent work. And when we first got it in 2017 with Assembly Member Richard Bloom, I had never heard of it. We got the phone call saying, we would like to honor you as a nonprofit of the year. Would you accept that honor? I said, of course we will. So we flew to Sacramento. We went to the chambers. We took pictures. We chatted with the assembly member. We had a lovely lunch. It was beautiful. Then 2 years later, State Senator Ben Allen gave us the award as well.
Okay, we'll have to give a shout out to Assemblymember Bloom and Senator Allen for sure. certainly quite an honor and a great validation. But certainly great to be recognized in Sacramento and of course throughout the state. But right here in Hollywood, where we're producing from and where Project Angel Food is housed as well, we know that you've recently been selected to be an honoree as one of the heroes of Hollywood, a annual celebration of community service here, put forth by the Hollywood Chambers Community Foundation. So speak to that honor here in your own backyard.
That's so beautiful because when you get an honor like that, there's a lot of organizations that could be picked as a hero of Hollywood and were picked as a hero of Hollywood. And especially now during COVID, when we've worked so hard, when you don't even apply, you don't even know what's going on, and you get a letter or an email saying you're chosen, it just really makes us feel special and appreciated, and that someone is noticing what we're doing. So we love the Hollywood Chamber of Commerce. We're members, and they've been great partners to us. They've volunteered. You've volunteered in our kitchen. And we've been awarded grants from the Hollywood Chamber of Commerce Foundation. And so we like the partnership.
Well, that's great. So we look forward to celebrating with you on November 12th at the Heroes of Hollywood virtual awards ceremony. And I know there are a number of other outstanding organizations, in our community being served. Richard, as you say, food is medicine, food is love, food nourishes the soul. So what's next for Project Angel Food? What does the next 30 years look like from your perspective?
Our goal, and my goal from day one, has always been feed more people. So in 1 year, we went from 650,000 meals to 1 million meals. I want to have a year where we're doing 5 million meals, where we're doing 10 million meals. Not because I want more people to need food, but because we're reaching all the people who need it. We know there are more people who need it. And so right now, as we speak, we have an architect looking at our facility on Vine Street and assessing the entire footprint and seeing how we could better utilize the space so that we can actually position ourselves for this growth.
Mm-hmm.
The only thing standing in the way of us serving more meals is more funding, because we never charge our clients a dime. We need money to come in, and we get a lot from foundations and individuals. We had 7,000 people send us donations between March and now.
Amazing.
And we usually get 4,000 in an entire year. And those donations are from $2 to $200 to $2,000, whatever amount someone can send us. This community has come through Project Angel Food like never before. They've always been there for us. And I really believe in, if you tell the universe what you need and what you want, the universe will conspire to make it happen. And so when we said we needed volunteers, we got 300 volunteers in 24 hours.
Amazing.
When we said we needed masks, we got 10,000 masks in 7 days.
So as you put out the call for others to get involved, how can others find you to get involved in the work of Project Angel Food?
Project Angel Food is online at angelfood.org. So there you can see about all of our exciting virtual events that we have coming up, including Witches of Eastwick. We're doing a happy hour going into a screening of the film. Warner Brothers gave us 100 different codes for people to go on and see the film, and we're going to have the screenwriter give us secrets from it. That's October 24th. It's going to be really, really fun. It's $100 a ticket. And Sandra Lee, who was the former First Lady of New York, and also Food Network star, Emmy Award winner, she will tell you how to cook up a really amazing cocktail. So that's going to be a fun event. And we're also doing a silent auction leading up to a live auction on November 22nd,
Okay.
where we're going to do a gratitude concert where we're going to thank all our donors and all the people who've helped us with a concert by a performer. We're in talks right now to get that performer. And we're going to auction off things, a day of meals, or you can adopt a chef if you want. And we have some, like a Harry Langdon photograph of John Eric Hexum and different really exciting things.
So you've certainly got a full agenda over the next couple of months for sure. Richard, this has been truly a wonderful conversation, and we're really excited about the work that Project Angel Food does and the work that you're going to be doing for years to come. As we wind down, we want to end with a little bit of a lightning round where we allow our audience to get to know a little bit about you and your Los Angeles. So if you'll indulge us with a few lightning round answers to these questions, we'd appreciate it.
Okay, let's do it. I'm ready.
Where are you from originally?
El Paso, Texas.
Which neighborhood do you currently live in?
West Hollywood.
Mobility is a huge issue in Los Angeles, so how do you get around? Uber, Lyft, yellow cab, scooter, bike, bus, walk, or metro?
Bike.
Netflix, Amazon, Hulu, or Disney Plus?
Netflix.
Favorite LA restaurant or two?
Rockwell Table and Stage. And also, I love what La Boheme has done with their outdoor space there.
Favorite spot to take a visitor to Los Angeles?
Runyon Canyon.
Lakers or Clippers?
Lakers.
Rams or Chargers?
Chargers.
Bruins or Trojans?
That's a tough one. Trojans.
Okay. We'll throw the Trojans a bone there. Richard, we really appreciate this dialogue. It's been great, and we appreciate your time on all the work that Project Angel Food does. And again, congratulations on the success that you've had. Congratulations on your being honored as a hero of Hollywood. And congratulations on all you do to serve community and those in need. To our audience, thank you for tuning in today. We hope you enjoyed this episode, and we hope you'll join us next week as we look forward to another great conversation. Until we meet again, stay strong and get involved. To learn more about Civitas LA and share feedback on this program, or if you have a recommendation about future programs, please visit our website at www.civitasla.com. And we hope you'll connect with us on Facebook at Civitas LA, Instagram at Civitas_LA, and Twitter at Civitas_LA.